Parents across the country are now struggling with a terrifying baby formula shortage, and it's reached crisis levels in recent weeks. At least 12 states have out-of-stock rates 40% or higher. Major retailers, including CVS, Target, and Walgreens, are now limiting how much formula shoppers can buy. And now parents and politicians are slamming President Biden for failing to do anything about it.
Parents have just been under so much stress the last 2+ years. And, now on top of everything else, we're having to worry about feeding our baby. And the Biden administration isn't talking about this at all. It'd be really nice if someone could come out and say, here's why this is happening. Here are the steps we're taking to fix it. And in the meantime, here's how we're going to make sure that every mother in America is going to be able to feed her children.
Harris, you said this last hour, and I'm so glad you did. Some women can't breastfeed, myself included. I had a double mastectomy. I depended on formula. Some children need specialty formula. I remember they told my daughter she had a milk protein allergy. I had to search everywhere for the special formula. It turns out she didn't, but it's a common thing. There are parents who don't have the choice of breast milk, and this is big.
There are parents who don't have the choice. There are also parents who are below the poverty line in a program that supplements them, but will only let them buy a can or two. So even if they could find it right now and buy it at an affordable price, they can't hoard it to take them past, some time, because it's going to take a while for this to catch up. Our own reporting has shown that at Fox Business. My greater concern, though, is when people say, well, why do you blame the administration? They don't make breast milk. They don't make formula. They don't make anything that could be possible, part of the solution. You know what they make? They make pulpit. They make pulpit. They can stand from the bully pulpit and they can amplify pressure to get an answer. We saw President Trump do this with the vaccine. Amplify that pulpit. Make it happen. Can we do an Operation Warp Feed My Baby?
Oh, that's a really good idea. Operation Warp Feed My Baby. Necessary. 12 states, Kennedy, it's happening rapidly, have 40% or higher out-of-stock rates. Target, CVS, Walgreens. These are places you go to get formula.
Yes, and these companies are saying that there is enough formula out there, but for some reason, it's concentrated in different parts of the country and not necessarily where people need it most. And where people need it is in their own pharmacy or their own Target when they go at 10 o'clock at night because they're almost out of baby food. And, of course, we remember hoarding things like paper products, toilet paper and paper towels during the pandemic. You have no other choice. You have no other choice. You cannot give your baby solid food or milk out of a carton when they are an infant. And it's terrifying. Think of new parents. You're scared that you're going to wreck your baby with the slightest thing. Imagine having that anxiety compounded by not being able to deliver your baby basic formula. And you're absolutely right. There's so many kids out there who have special dietary needs. And when you can't go and get it, it feels like we're living in a third world country.
To that point, Emily, this was a mother who said this. Her son has special dietary needs. She said to Politico, if this doesn't get fixed soon, I don't know how my son will survive, said Phoebe Carter, whose 5-year-old son, John, has a severe form of a rare digestive and immune system disease driven by a dysfunctional immune response to food antigens. I just can't stress that enough. If, God forbid, a family member of President Biden or Jeff Bezos or someone influential had one of these diseases, this crisis wouldn't have made it to day 2.
She's absolutely right. This is the United States of America, and baby formula is scarce. And this president isn't doing anything about it. He promised on the campaign trail, we're going to fix every problem. Well, our babies need food now. It's absolutely reprehensible, and I frankly don't understand why there's been zero accountability by the media for this president of all of these promises he made, because now it's getting really real. And there were certain things that happened during the pandemic where obviously we were all banded together in a global pandemic. We were all going through it, right? But scarcity is a real thing. And scarcity right now has become prevalent in all walks of our life. So for this administration who also touts the importance of the housing market and in underserved communities, the like, well, there's a shortage of homes and cars and appliances. And baby formula. Manufacturers are now averaging 100-day waits for their materials, and that's why we're starting to see it in our works and computers and the like. But when you have mothers who cannot put food in their children's stomachs because of their special needs or any needs, it is about time that someone held this president accountable, because absolutely right, it's under his purview.
Well, we're going to have to, I'm sorry, just one second, Todd, forgive me. I just thought of something. We're going to have to do this ourselves. right? They're not going to do this for us. They've already proven that. I'm not even sure if they like women all that much.
Oh, yeah.
No, I mean it. Because they can't even understand how critical this is to all of us. And Kennedy, our girls are older, but we've all been there.
Yes.
Yes.
Right?
You never forget that,
So
that
there will
feeling.
be church programs. There will be local programs. Look for your local programs. There will be moms who will pump.
Yes.
There will be. And it may not be enough for everybody, but my God, if we could still, and we can't, we would do it. We would band together and do what this administration, which hires a lot of women, but apparently those women don't want to talk.
Harris talks about this in such compassionate terms, and I believe the American people will come together on this, but it's befuddling when you look at Chief of Staff Ron Klain's Twitter feed Friday. He had 19 tweets about how great the economy was. 19 tweets.
Thanks,
It
Ron.
doesn't feel that way for parents out there. Maybe he needs to get off Twitter and fix this problem. I remember when Chief of Staff Mark Meadows put everything he had into solving drug prices. Maybe he needs to take a page from the Trump playbook.
Very interesting, but also to your point about this administration's view toward women, just juxtapose these last two blocks, right? The abortion block and the A block, and now this discussion here about moms trying to do the fundamental thing and feed their child. I've had friends whose wives have gone through this. Oftentimes they can breastfeed only a few weeks, and then at some point they can't because of pain or because of other reasons. Think of the pressure that that mother feels to try to provide nourishment, life to that child. Yet this individual, this mother, is not getting any help from this administration. Instead, what are they doing? They're tacitly saying, go do your abortion protest because that's okay. That's what the focus should be. That's sad. That is sad. And I look at the women in my life, and I think if they ever had to go through that, I would be beyond livid. And that's what we're going through right now in this society.
Great point. Yeah. Off the Twitter, Ron, on to baby formula, please, for everyone.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.